I'm just kidding. Push play.
Oh, and we're live. The PICKEMS challenge is back, y'all. Man, I've been waiting for this day for like 200 and something days. We are back here with MJT Football. We're live, picking every game of week one, and we're going to be predicting and picking every game all year long, y'all, and keeping track of our overall records to see who is the best. We're all 0-0 right now. Who won this last year? I think I won this last year.
I think you guys cheated.
Oh, here we go again.
No, I won it on the last game of the season.
Oh, yeah, it was Lions. Yeah, the Lions-Packers game was for the championship, and I lost because of my Lions hate.
Yeah, I won this. I won the pick'em challenge between all of us last year by one game. It went to the last game, and it was and I won because we switched teams at the end. So yeah, I won this. Tony Tucker has nothing to do in the pick'em challenge. It's between me and Mike every year.
Again this year.
Not this year. This year will be different. And in fact, in week one, I'm declaring it. I'm going 16-0 in week one.
16-0?
16-0.
That's probably not going to happen.
Week one for Tony Tucker. Yeah, I don't see that going, Tony. I don't think we have the same picks, so there's no way that you're going undefeated this week.
And, well, clearly, because I didn't take the Raiders, spoiler alert, I'm going to take the entire pot on Mike's Pick'em Challenge. Let him know what that's about at the top of this video here, and let's get this show rolling, Mike.
If you guys want to join the Mike's Pick'ems Challenge, the link is in the description of this live, or if you're watching the replay, it's a video. The thing is that we are running out of time on the season-long challenges. Once the game kicks off tonight, you will not be able to join the season-long challenges anymore. You'll only be able to join the week-to-week challenges. I want everyone to get on those season-long ones so you could just pick which weeks you're feeling lucky and which weeks you're not throughout the rest of the season. So make sure you check that out. Link in the description or in all of my social media platforms bios. Also help us out by liking this video or live stream, whether you're watching the replay or tuned in live. Leaving a comment, your picks, and let us know how we do here. Starting with the Detroit Lions on the road tonight on Thursday Night Football in Kansas City. No Chris Jones. A questionable/injured Travis Kelce. Do the Lions take it tonight, Tony?
Roar! They absolutely don't take it. I'm cheering desperately deep down in my soul for a Lions victory tonight. I will definitely 1,000% be cheering for the Lions. But I am not betting against Andy Reid with 5 months to prepare for a football game, regardless of who it is. I also think that it's perfect Sky Moore breakout season. And then in week two, I'm selling high on the leagues I draft him in and trading him to somebody. So one of the suckers in my league. Thank you, Harrison, for the shout out on the haircut. Appreciate it.
So you're sticking with the Kansas City Chiefs even without these stars. I think Travis Kelce's going to play. The question is, should he? I mean, they're risking him getting more severely injured, knock on wood. We don't want to see that happen for this week one game against the Lions. I wonder what the thought process here is for Andy Reid, because they are saying they're going to work him out pregame and make it a game-time decision. To me, that leans towards a player of his caliber and his passion and everything that we know about Travis Kelce. That leans more on the side that he feels like he's going to play unless in warm-ups he just doesn't feel ready at all.
See, I think that feels more like gamesmanship, though. That's like, hey, continue to prepare like Travis Kelce is going to be on this field. And even if he does play, maybe he's a little bit more of a decoy. Like, have him out there. Like, he doesn't have some crazy consecutive streak thing that he needs to keep out there, but he's got to be one of the best decoys ever. Like, you can't not pay attention. I mean, the guy, remember what he did to the Raiders last year?
Yeah. And to the Chargers. But we won't talk about that.
Oh, shit.
So, you sticking with KC?
I've been going back and forth since the Travis Kelce injury. No Chris Jones, and then possibly no Travis Kelce tonight. And everybody's hyped on the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell getting his team to go bite some kneecaps off. And what better way to go in there and set a statement and say the Detroit Lions are here than to go into Kansas City and beat the defending Super Bowl champions? Well, that shit ain't going to happen. Detroit's taking the L tonight to Kansas City. I don't want to see it happen because I'm a Raider fan, but Kansas City's too damn good. Kansas City doesn't need big-name players to go in there and beat the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions might be better this year, but they're just not there. They're not at Kansas City level yet.
I did pick the Chiefs in my original PICKEMS challenge that I posted on TikTok, but I'm switching it right here live on the air to the Detroit Lions, especially since you guys are both still rocking with the Kansas City Chiefs. So give me the Lions tonight. I think the key here is the big mismatch in the middle of the Chiefs defense and in the middle of the Lions offense. This offensive line should bully basically, George Karlaftis and the rest of the Chiefs defensive line. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be fielding tonight without Chris Jones. I don't know what the quality of that interior play is going to be. But with these backs, this offensive line, the Lions should run the football tonight. It's tempting. I know. Getting a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. Jared Goff did it a few years ago with the Rams. It's tempting, Dan Campbell. I know. But feed these backs. Keep Mahomes on the sideline. And when Mahomes does get his opportunities, now you might not have to double up someone in the middle of the field, which frees up a DB to help over the top. Back the fuck up and play some smart football, run the ball, and take advantage of the mismatches you have.
Yeah, I think that is definitely got to be the game plan, right? Like your strength is the offensive line. You're missing who I consider the best defensive tackle in football, and Chris Jones. So why not just smash the ball forward and really take it to him? It doesn't matter, Mike. It doesn't matter.
Come on, Tony. Come on.
They're at home. The stadium is going to be insane for this team.
That's the biggest thing that worries me the most is them being at home. If this game was in where are the NFL helmets? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If this game was in
asking where the picks are, because last year we had the PICKEMS. Remember, we were coming up on the side of the screen, not on the side of the screen. That's where he's asking. We deprived Harrison of our great graphics on this program.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
We do have some graphics for later in the show, Harrison. When we get through all the picks, we're going to show them all at once. That makes it better. But like I was saying, if this game was in Detroit, I think both of you would be picking the Lions with me.
Yeah, I probably would.
I'm picking the Lions no matter if it was – what, you're acting like people show up in Detroit to root for their team. No, that's a quiet stadium. They don't get loud in Detroit.
They are sold out. The Lions are sold out of tickets.
It's more so not being in Kansas City is what I mean, more so than it being in Detroit. Like anywhere but Kansas City or Seattle, probably the best places to play.
Yeah. Two great home field advantages.
Matt Jones is saying the Lions are going to shock the world because their offensive line tonight.
Tell them to come over to the live stream here on YouTube. MJT Football, if you guys tuned in on either of our TikToks.
Even if the Lions win tonight, you already know what everybody's going to say tomorrow. Oh, the Lions beat a broke-down Kansas City Chiefs. They beat them without Chris Jones. They're not even 100%. So the Lions, even if the Lions win tonight, they're not going to get any credit for it.
Yes, they are.
They will get All right. Enough.
Or you think the media is going to jack them off like they did Colorado after 1 week?
Hey, don't go after Prime like that.
Let's keep this thing moving, guys.
Come on. Just think. Let's go. Let's move on.
Let's keep this thing moving. Carolina is taking a trip to Atlanta. We're getting Bryce Young in his first game against Desmond Ridder and Bijan Robinson in his first game. Tony, I think I have a hunch of who you're going to pick. Go ahead and let people know.
It's the Falcons are going to roll in this football game. They're going to dominate the run. Desmond Ridder is going to be able to hit the little play action rollouts. We're going to finally see them use Kyle Pitts the way that he's supposed to be. We expected him to be used before. I'm very excited about this. I saw a crazy stat. The first rookie quarterback to start 4 games, minimum 4 games, and not throw an interception. His name's Desmond Ridder, and he's starting for the Atlanta Falcons. And right now there's 0 believers. But after week 1, there'll be a couple more and a couple more. And Harrison, I'm really sorry about this. I'd love to pick the Panthers. It ain't going to happen. Falcons roll.
This will be a huge win, Mike. Nice name, bro. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't think I've seen you here before, Mike Dunn. Joe, your take on this game here. Panthers on the road in Atlanta. Bryce Young's first game. Who you got?
Oh, I'm so scared of that Atlanta defense. Tony Tucker is building up the Atlanta Falcons like they're the next Super Bowl champions. But I'm going with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Week 1, get that W for him. Week 1, Tony, the Carolina Panthers. I already told you, I like the Carolina Panthers and I like their defense. They're not going to win no division or anything, but they're going to beat the Falcons in week 1, and they're going to do it easily. Harrison, I got your back.
Yeah, Harrison. I don't got your back, buddy. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons at home in this one for all the same reasons Tony said. Anyways, this is my lock of the week. This next game here, I have the Ravens as my survivor pick over the Houston Texans. They're hosting the Houston Texans. Let's see what Houston can bring to this football field. They can compete with a Ravens team that's been very good over the last couple of years, especially when Mr. Jackson has been healthy. Tony, you ready to give this pick? I'm pretty sure that we're all going to be the same here, right? Everyone going Ravens?
I think I went Ravens. I don't know. I forgot my picks already. I just wanted
You went Ravens?
I was going to make a bet with Joe because Joe keeps talking about the Raiders defense being good. I bet the Falcons defense is a better scoring average defense than the Raiders this year. Guarantee it.
What the hell scoring average?
Yeah, like how many points a game the Falcons are giving up as opposed to how many points a game the Raiders are giving up this year. Which one do you think?
Yeah.
You don't remember Joe's hot take, Tony, that the Raiders are going to have a top 20 defense?
No, exactly. Joe's inebriated. Who am I? I picked the Ravens. They're playing the Texans. I have the Texans winning one game this year, and it won't be against the Ravens in week one. This is I am excited though to watch the DeMeco Ryans era. Like there's a lot of fun players on the Texans. Even though I'm a Michigan fan and I don't really root for CJ Stroud a ton, now he's in the NFL and I can root for him.
If you guys are pumped about football, help us out by liking the video, liking the live stream. Yo, Houston Texans on the road in Baltimore. Any chance for the Texans here?
Hell no. Hell no. Texans fans, you're already used to taking their loss, so it's all good. Baltimore, what are they? Don't they get easy opponents every week one? Like it seems like they put up 50 points every week one, and everybody is all on the Baltimore train again.
All right.
But you're picking them, right?
Oh yeah. Wait, there was one week one that they didn't win, and that was in Las Vegas.
That was the craziest game I had ever watched. It was insane. Ravens should have won that game 6 times.
I don't know if you guys remember, I had Lamar Jackson in that game, and I needed like 1 point for like the entire fucking fourth quarter and overtime. He kept passing it and then fumbling it away and then passing it and then fumbling.
You had the victory, and then he fumbled.
3 times or 2 times. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. Anyways, and I was watching with Jay too, and I swear Jay is like a time traveler or something because he says crazy shit, and then it actually happens. He goes, "Oh, don't worry, Mike. He'll score a touchdown on this one." And sure, he goes to score a touchdown, and then he fumbles again. It's like, oh my gosh, dude. Anyways, help us out by liking the video, like I said in the middle of Joe's take, rudely. Moving on to the next game here. This one's an interesting one. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, I like Theodore's bet there. That one that he has up on the board, the George Pickens first TD score, the Calvin Austin anytime score, and Kenny Pickett. I don't know what the payout is on that, but I'd bet that.
That'd be a W right there. We're gonna keep.
Well, Niner fans are all excited again. We'll get to that game. We'll get to that game, Theodore, because I like to go off on Niner fans just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, we're talking about all the games here. So if you're tuned in on TikTok, come over to YouTube. If you're tuned in on YouTube, please help us out by liking the video. Anyways, here we go. The Cincinnati Bengals are taking a trip to Cleveland. And now the Browns have like this record that gets thrown out like every time I bring up this game of like 4-1 or something against the Bengals over the last couple of years. Deshaun Watson obviously made a statement earlier this week that he feels like he's better than he's ever been. Are you buying in on the Browns hype here, Tony, to get a win over the Bengals week 1? It is in the dog pound.
Yeah, so I am buying in the Browns in week 1 of this matchup. Like, I think the defenses tend to have a really early season advantage. And the fact that Burrow hasn't been able to practice, we saw the Bengals have a slow start last year, and I think they had a slow start. Obviously, his rookie season was slow, but like, I just think that the new Browns defense, they brought in a lot of resources. If you bring in Zadarius Smith on the opposite side of Myles Garrett, who I'm considering picking Myles Garrett as my defensive MVP for the year. I just don't know that the defense overall, when it's all said and done, that they'll be good enough. But I'm going to go with the Browns defense to show up and win this game. You know, like an ugly 23-20 Browns kick a field goal with one of the most heroic kickers in the league, Dustin Hopkins. On one leg, this man can still bury 6 field goals in a game. So I'll take the Browns in a close one. It'll be fun. Maybe the sky will be falling for the Bengals. Just
Even
like it
if
was.
the bad leg's the kicking leg, you can trust in Dustin Hopkins. All right, guys? Just know that. You got yourself a kicker. Joe, what's your pick for this game? Cincinnati Bengals in Cleveland against the Browns.
Really, the Browns is the Browns. And we're going to talk about adding another defensive end on the other side of Myles Garrett. Tony, that's your claim to fame? They've had Jadeveon Clowney over there, right? They had another defensive end over there. Now they're bringing in Smith, who couldn't get it done in Minneapolis. And we're like, oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be a great addition to that. And Deshaun Watson talking about we're going to give our team happy endings. Come on. Get that out of here. Deshaun Watson not going to get it going this year. The Bengals, with Joe Burrow back, Bengals are going to win this game.
I don't mean to poke a hole in that beautiful rant, but I'm pretty sure Darius Smith had like 8 or 9 sacks in 12 games or something.
Yeah, Smith is a better pass rusher than Clowney is. Clowney might play the run a little bit better. I don't know how deep you want to PFF stat these guys, but I think Zadarius Smith is a better get after the quarterback edge player.
I think the Browns have a very good shot at winning this game, and I think it's going to be a very close back and forth battle, both on the defense side of the ball and the offense side of the ball. I got the Bengals barely pulling it out. So I'm sticking with Cincinnati. All right, on to Indianapolis. The Colts, Anthony Richardson's first game. They're hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, the division favorite Jacksonville Jaguars. Any chance the Colts take this, Tony?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they get to suit up and play in the game, so there's a chance, but I wouldn't bet it. I'm not going to pick it. I don't like people picking this as their lock of the week or survivor pick or whatever it is, because we don't know what they're going to do. And there's a huge element of surprise for the Colts in this one. And when you look at what's the one concern we have about the Jaguars is their defense, right? Is that's where they didn't really commit a ton of resources to it this offseason. I'm still going to pick the Jaguars, and I'm really rooting for Trayvon Walker to live up to what the hype was, what the combine elevation that put him in as the number 1 overall pick. Can he go be the kind of pass rusher that has 80 pressures and 15.5 sacks? And I think that he can. So I'm rooting for that young man to have a great year. Tough week 1 situation though for that. You're not going to get many sacks or pressures on a guy that's just as big and faster than you are.
Exactly. And I'm really excited to see how Calvin Ridley plays in this game. I think he's got an opportunity to start hot here in his first game as a Jacksonville Jaguar. I'd be very excited to see, him get 2 or 3 catches in the first drive. That would get my juices flowing. I will be putting in Mojo Fantasy Sports picks on Calvin Ridley. Theodore's agreeing with you here, Tony. He said majority of the games this week are way too close for comfort to bet on any of them. It's these are all division games, and they're all close. Tough to call.
Yeah,
well, week 1. A lot of surprises happen in week 1, and so a lot of people are going to put a lot into week 1 and be like, "Oh, this team sucks. This team's good." But at the end of the day, it's week 1, and we've seen big surprises in week 1, and then teams just turn out to be duds at the end of the year. So don't buy into a lot of the stuff. Say the Colts come out and blow Jacksonville out in week 1, which it's not going to happen because I'm taking Jacksonville just a surprise pick. But if it does happen, it doesn't mean the Colts are Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
No,
and people will be saying
anybody would think that.
Tony, there's dumb people, right? I have a TikTok where I make my own takes. I might say something stupid like that. So there's dumb people out there.
Oh, well, last year, didn't the Bears win in week 1? And then everybody told me how crazy great they were. And I think they won 1 more game the rest of the year.
Remember that time, Joe, that the Raiders and Chargers played week 1, and it was Khalil Mack's first game as a Charger versus his old team.
Was that the one you made a sweater for, and then they ended up losing? I don't remember.
No, it wasn't that one. No, it wasn't. Okay. That was week 2, I believe. You were there for that one in person.
I don't know. I remember you made a sweater one time bragging about the Chargers beating the Raiders, and then the Chargers lost and didn't go to the playoffs because of the Raiders. But anyway, we're talking about Jacksonville and Indianapolis right now.
This year I'm upping it a step, and I'm putting it on a billboard somewhere in L.A.
Oh, man, I would love that.
Shoot. Oh, man. Well, sign up for the Splash Pick'ems Challenge, y'all, to make that dream come true. Anyways, next game. Oh, yeah, I got the Jaguars also. I don't know if I said that. We got Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road in Minnesota. I think most people are taking the Vikings in this one. I think that this game is a little bit intriguing because Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, this offense technically should be able to go after that Vikings defense. But I'm sticking with Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to win this first game at home. I don't see Baker Mayfield being able to get the ball downfield without establishing that elite play action game throughout the season first. Tony Tucker, what's your thoughts on this game? You going Bucks? Upset City?
No, I'm not at all. Damien's thing here where he says, I mean, Stephen A. Smith is still a person, Tony. I think that's really funny because of the comment that I made. He does seem like somebody who would be talking about Anthony Richardson as an MVP if he crushed the Jaguars in week 1. So something really interesting is happening in football this year. And it's a lot of teams that are doing this like, hey, we're not super competitive, but we're going to get young guys action. The secondary for the Colts is all young guys. The secondary for the Vikings, again, you look at it, it's like, who are they playing? Like, teams are really trying to go with this, like, I hate this term, but the stars and scrubs, sort of like we're paying a lot of money for these essential 7 players, and then we're just piecing together athletes and trying to create schemes and systems. So I think that this game between the Bucks and Vikings is a lot closer. If you got Chris Godwin, start him. Like I traded for him week 1. I'm excited about the matchup for the Bucks wide receivers in this game. But I just think that the Vikings are at home in this. Yes, I believe so. I don't remember. Vikings at home. This offense is going to be really good, and they'll be able to overcome. I think this game's actually going to be kind of a shootout. I like a 31-30 Vikings win.
Ooh. Who you got, Joe?
The Vikings.
I got the Minnesota Vikings over in Tampa Bay. Come on, Tony. Like, really, you're going to sit here after and just talk about how it's going to be? Brian Flores is going to bring more to this defense than you think he is. And you might not know some of these names, but Brian Flores gets his players worked up and ready to go. Tampa Bay, this isn't – you don't got Tom Brady back there no more. It's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, he's going to get sacked. He's going to throw some picks. It's going to be an ugly game for Tampa Bay.
So, Joe, they lost Eric Kendricks. That's not a big deal. They trade away Za'Darius Smith. All they have left is
the reason that you're on Eric Kendricks' train is because he's a Charger now. Eric Kendricks wasn't a big deal. Come on.
Well, pop quiz, Joe. Who is playing linebacker for the Vikings?
Which one?
Is it Brian Asamoah? The
rookie? Which one you want? Yeah, I'm ready. You can't throw questions at me because I got the depth charts in front of me. Come on.
I'm going with the Vikings also, Joe. But I think that you're overhyping this Brian Flores edition by a mile, by a lot. A lot like that Gus Bradley edition you were overhyping for the Raiders a couple years ago.
I do think it's a big addition, but it's a player's game. We've heard that all offseason. You have to have guys that are going to make plays, and I just don't see it for the Vikings defense. I like what the Vikings are doing. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be fun to watch on offense. The defense it just worries me.
Yeah, I think the Vikings defense is going to stay in Harrison's with us.
The Vikings won 14 games with no defense last year, and you're like, oh, their defense sucks, so they're going to lose another one.
What are you talking about? Eric Kendricks, the same guy you're dumping on, literally made a game-saving play on the 1-yard line. Patrick Peterson had 2 interceptions against Josh Allen in that game also.
Eric Kendrick ain't going to do nothing except run over again in the Los Angeles defense.
Run over again? What do you?
If Eric Kendrick was so good, he would still be in Minnesota. You don't get rid of good players.
I can't, Joe. I am calling you after the Raiders get smashed on Sunday in Denver, and we're gonna have a long conversation about your defense.
You don't gotta call me because I'll be live on TikTok after that game.
Tennessee Titans are going to New Orleans, face off against Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints in his first game as a Saint of his career. Joe, I'll let you go first in this one because I want to know your opinion on this game.
Derek Carr, MVP. MVP. I don't know. All Raider fans after this game are going to be like, well, half of them are going to be like, why did we get rid of Derek Carr? Oh, he's such a good quarterback. Man, go screw yourself because Derek Carr, we already know what he can do. He's going to have a great game. He's playing the Tennessee Titans. Maybe Simmons gets 1 or 2 sacks on him, but Derek Carr and the Saints are too good. And I already said, fade the Titans. The Titans are going to be a bad team this year.
Fade the Titans. You heard it here first. Tony, who you got?
I'm with Joe. I'm with Mike and Jordan in the chat. I'm going with the Saints. I think just at home and the Saints fans, that's another stadium that I think gives a really great home field advantage. And this is tough for the Titans, still figuring things out there. The defense is still healthy at the beginning of the season for the Saints. As to where I think like maybe if a couple of those guys get banged up, that's where you start to see a couple weaknesses for the Saints, is not as much depth. But in week one, no issues. I think this is a 7-point win for the Saints.
Yeah, I think that their defense is honestly starting to get a little underrated. I've seen a lot of people saying that Derrick Henry's Fernando's in the house. What's up, bro? I've seen a lot of people saying that this Derrick Henry's going to run all over the Saints defense. I think that this front seven actually is pretty strong to open up the year here for New Orleans. And if they want to play Derrick Henry on any week, it would be this week. They got all their linebackers. They got all their defensive linemen ready to go. Underrated signing this offseason. They picked up Sanders from KC, and he puts in some work in run defense and pass rush inside for them, with Cameron Jordan on the outside and their young edge rusher on the other side. So I think that their defense is actually really underrated. I think they're going to win this game with some comfort, honestly.
Fernando doesn't mean that. He's just dumping gas on the fire that is Joe Morley. He just wants to rile Joe up. He's just giggling right now. He's like, look at this big dummy saying all these crazy things about the Raiders. I know Fernando's just gassing you up, Joe. That's it. Just for the letdown, for the text message he's going to send.
I'm talking to the head of myself right here.
And Joe's going crazy.
At least somebody listens to me. At least somebody listens to me, Fernando.
All right, let's get to my game of the week. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be a fun game to watch, I think. But, Tony, who you got in this one?
I like the Steelers at home. I would have liked them better if Nick Bosa wasn't making the trip. But I still think that this team has done tremendous things this offseason and will be able to build off the success they were having at the end of last year and carry that into this year. There's always a nice jump for that quarterback that we see, like when they're there, they're committed and they're in positive organizations. And I think that we're going to see that with Kenny Pickett be a tough game. And the Niners are figuring stuff out on their offensive line. It is a bad team to figure things out against. Like when you're going to be getting TJ and Cameron, and they're running even deeper with some of these like lesser named edge rushers. They gave Highsmith the money. So like, I just think the Steelers are going to bring way too much heat for 4 essentially unproven offensive linemen that the 49ers are going to be rolling out there. Steelers. There you go, Theodore. Big dub to start the year.
I'm also going with the Steelers. I think that this defense is actually going to give this offense fits, man. I think that it should be a close game still, regardless, just because of all the talent on the 49ers offense. But I think losing George Kittle is a big deal and sealing the edge in the 49ers rushing attack. It's tough, though, because we're gambling on the Pittsburgh offense being able to put up some points on the San Fran defense, which is obviously really good. Joe, who you got in this one?
Hey, up until yesterday when Joey Bosa signed, or Nick Bosa, sorry, I get the Bosa brothers confused, but when Nick Bosa signed his contract, all the Niner fans were in hiding again. They were like, we're not coming out. We had a bad preseason. Oh, Bosa's not going to play. Then Bosa signs, and all the bandwagon Niner fans pop out of everywhere. And all of a sudden, they're like, we're going to beat the Steelers. Bull crap. The Niners start off slow. Brock Purdy is not the savior. Oh, they were like, did you see Brock Purdy in the preseason? Yeah, I saw Brock Purdy lead you to 2 field goals that your kicker can't even make. You guys drafted a kicker in the top 100, and he can't even make a PAT, and you want me to ride with the Niners in week 1? Pittsburgh Steelers going to be hyped up for this. You're going to see TJ Watt. You know what, Tony? Why not make a hot take right now? TJ Watt, 3 sacks this week. 3 sacks to lead off week 1 for TJ Watt as he beats down the Niners in Pittsburgh.
This is the Joe that MJT needs on every single episode. You're just letting them rip today, Joe. I'm appreciating it.
I'm just saying, where were the Niner fans a week ago? Hiding. And then all of a sudden, Bosa gets his contract, and they're like, yeah, we paid him $34 million. Yeah, you paid a defensive end $34 million. Good luck in the next couple of years. You better win that Super Bowl. You better win that Super Bowl because you don't have no money for nothing else.
Gibbs or Aaron Jones, full PPR.
I would go with Aaron Jones. Week 1, healthy, playing the Bears. I think the Bears still have maybe an improved defense, but a lot to prove to me there. Like, and you're going to try to get some easy screens and completions to Aaron Jones in that football game. I do like Gibbs this week. Hopefully not too much because I'm playing Mike in fantasy and he has Gibbs. So,
Week 1, baby. Excited for that.
keep it up.
I like Gibbs too. I like both these guys, honestly. I would probably play Gibbs just because I'm the sucker that wants to play the guys that are playing on prime time. Just the way I always am. All right. Let's keep it going here. Go with Jones. Phil, go with Jones.
Come on. Am I not right about Niner fans this week? Like, did you guys hear anything from Niner fans throughout the whole preseason? They were all quiet. It's just a preseason. It's just a preseason. Well, now it's regular season. And when you start 0-1, we'll talk again.
I think you're definitely paying more attention to the Niner fans than I am, for sure.
Well, here's the thing is Fernando was right. He's just talking to cut himself out. We know that this video will be on Joe's TikTok later. That rant was fantastic. And this is the kind of energy that we want from you, Joe. We want you bringing that kind of energy all the time, and that the 49er fans are going to come after you for saying some crazy shit.
It's because I'm high on Celsius right now. I'm drinking Celsius. Drink over the people.
If you're tuned in on TikTok, please come over to the YouTube live and let Joe know what you're thinking about that last rant. All right. And there's some Adam Schefter news breaking. I don't know what it is. It just says multiple sources are confirming this. I don't know what that is about. So someone in the chat, please go check Adam Schefter's Twitter and tell me what's going on in the NFL world right now. Next game, Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell, new quarterback in Washington. Josh Dobbs, new quarterback in Arizona. Which new quarterback that was a backup for all of last season is going to ball out, Tony?
Sam Howell. And this is the lock. This is the survivor pick of the week. And I know everybody's thinking like, oh, this is who everybody else is taking. The Cardinals are traveling east. They're going to play a front seven that's crazy with a quarterback that's been there for like a week. I think the Commanders are going to have one of those like statement games to open the season. And a lot of people are going to be having that Monday conversation. Did we underestimate the Commanders? As if they didn't just play an organization that is clearly going through a lot right now. Like, that's just the reality. It's like the Cardinals are figuring things out. When you're trading first round picks from a few years ago for 7th round conditional draft picks, like there's something going on there. And we won't even get into like, I'm not going to publicly talk about the Jonathan Gannon stuff or whatever, but first time as a head coach on the road against that front seven defense, Commanders all day. Easy win.
Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders also. I think that they should win this game easily. Also, I think some news came out that Terry McLaurin is actually expected to play. Some dumbass traded him for an 8th round pick in his fantasy draft because he had turf toe.
I still don't. You were sober, Mike. You were sober. And why didn't you offer Terry to me? I love Terry.
Let me pretend like I wasn't sober, Tony. The tequila got to my brain. I took a shot right before that draft trade that was stupid. And here we are. Now he's playing. And my Jahan Dotson.
I was like, this guy gives fantasy advice. He can never let anybody know. And then we go to a show in front of all these lovely people who joined us on this beautiful NFL Kickoff Thursday, and you're sharing that information publicly.
I thought that
put it out there.
I thought that, and I still wanted to shake the drafts up a little bit, and it sure shake things up. And also, if any of you guys are in that league or tuned into this, and I'll clip this out as well, I put that out to the entire league, and only one motherfucker raised his hand. If it was such a steal, you'd think all 12 people would want in on that.
I was like 14 Michelob Ultralights deep, bro. You got to give me attention.
You were on the clock when I made the announcement.
So come over to me and say, Tony, right now you could have Terry McLaurin, even though I was already 3 deep at wide receiver, even though I'm already rocking CD, Garrett Wilson, and Deebo Samuels. I still am taking Terry from you.
You looked at out of the side of your eye and you said, Mike, I'm not falling for that shit. That's exactly what you said to me.
I probably did. I have no idea what I said. People were feeding me shots of tequila and vodka, and they're like, go up there and draft.
Joe, are we all on the Commanders, or are you going with the Cardinals on this?
No, I wish the Cardinals could pull this upset because I know a lot of people, just like Harrison, are locking this in as their survivor pick this week. A lot of people are saying the Commanders. A lot of fantasy football players have got the Commanders defense. But really, I mean, I don't know, like I'm going to go and supposed to be have a Josh Dobbs week. Like I'm supposed to be like, yeah, Josh Dobbs is going to lead this team over the Washington Commanders. Let's go, Josh Dobbs. I'm not doing it.
You're right, shot callers. You're right. I wasn't. It was drinking just straight bourbon.
Straight, whiskey.
Yeah.
Give me the hard stuff. Oh man. So you're going with the Cardinals, Joe?
No, I'm not going with I'm going with Washington. What the hell? Like I was going on a rant. Like I want to see Washington. I want to see Arizona win, but they're not going to just because it would help me in the survivor picks. Thank you. Look at Tony giving me credit up in here. Giving me credit. I told people stay away from Super Cup.
I did too.
I was not going to give you guys the joy when we did our fantasy rankings, and I was like, I'm keeping Cup up there. He's going to be just fine. And I dropped down Jamar Chase. Guess who had a chance to draft those two wide receivers in a fantasy league on Sunday? I took Jamar Chase. So I might have given some terrible advice earlier in the offseason, and I'm sorry if anybody adhered to that.
Hey, in one draft, I even passed on Travis Kelce. I had an option to take him in the first round, and I said, nope.
You're not getting credit for telling us to avoid Kelce.
I didn't say avoid him. I just said I didn't draft him. Get my wording correct, Tony.
You take your wins because you get very few of them. Enjoy it.
We are going to pick the rest of the games, y'all, but I have one more thing to say also. There was one specific Rams TikToker. What happened?
No, I'm just saying this person who just jumped in here, I don't know how to say it, their name, Scar. I don't know.
Scar hunting?
Scar hunting, yeah. Threw me off with the other thing. And also, I can't really read. Wentz is available. Like, he should be the starter for the Cardinals. Like, that's who they should have brought in at some point. And that then I would feel better.
The Cardinals are tanking.
I get it.
If they wanted to win, they would have kept McCoy there. They don't want to win.
Why are people over here digging skeletons out of my closet? Like,
just open on you right now. Anyways, there was a TikTok that I made about avoiding Cooper Kupp now because hamstring injuries. You always avoid them, especially when you have to draft them in the first or second round of your drafts. And a certain Rams TikToker commented in there, "Why don't you get your facts straight? The Rams already reported he's going to participate in scrimmages in 2 weeks." There we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, I don't know who that Rams TikToker was, but
my facts were straight. Anyways, next game here. This is an interesting one. Green Bay Packers on the road in Chicago, famously with Aaron Rodgers. They've owned them, right? The Packers have owned the Bears. I think that's going to flip starting with this very game, and I am going with the Chicago Bears to own the Packers, win by 10 or more points in this one at home at Soldier Field. Tony, Packers or Bears?
So I went.
Sorry, Tony. I didn't mean to cut you off. Let us know in the chat.
Yes, you did.
Like this live stream. I forgot to add that in there. Please like the live stream while everyone's in here and let us know who you got, Bears or Packers. All right, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this Mike Dunn person seems very smart because we're on the right side. I'm going with the Bears. I've been back and forth on the Packers thing. I think that I started to get influenced a little bit from just listening to like sports talk stuff where everybody's trying to sell me on the Green Bay Packers being better. But I cannot get over the idea of like Aaron Rodgers got left a team that was 12-4 and went to an NFC Championship game, and they went 6-10 the next year. Like Jordan Love's being left a team that's really young, and although that this defense is better, I'm not sold on the Green Bay Packers being great or even like super competitive. So I'm going with the Bears in week 1. Also at home, they've been getting juiced all offseason. Let it continue. I'll take the Bears by 4.
Bears.
Joe.
Okay, Green Bay. I like Green Bay. I don't think they're going to be as bad as everybody's saying they're going to be because of Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not taking the Packers to win because Watson has hamstring injuries. Romeo Doubs has hamstring injuries, and so they're not going to be 100%. And I'm going with the Chicago Bears because they're going to pull out some crazy week one plays. You're going to see some screen passes. You're going to see some short passes. You're going to see all kinds of crazy things out of DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert, and Justin Fields just going up and down. So if you got any Bears players on your fantasy team, start them all because they're all scoring some points for you.
That's what I was going to say, that the Bears' strength is going to be the explosiveness they're adding to this offense. And I think that's going to show in this first game. I'm pumped for this game because Bears fans,
I can see that you're pumped. You just said, I'm pumped for this game.
I'm running out of breath because my lungs are damaged.
I really think this game is going to be an exciting game this week. It's going to be a very good matchup between two good teams, and they're just going to get the.
All right, let's go on to the next game, the one I want to talk about most. The Raiders are on the road in Denver, and I'm thinking about changing my pick just because of that shit that you just did to me, Joe, trying to undermine my sigh or my deep breath I needed to take because I ran out of breath from all the talking I've been doing carrying this fucking show. Anyways, Tony.
So, third starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers in 30 years. Jordan Love. I didn't get that in. The street sweeper was going by. I was getting loud and crazy in here. As far as the Broncos-Raiders game, for the longest time, I was all about the Broncos being terrible and whatever. And then I watched more Raiders stuff, and I was like, well, it's still the Raiders. And I flip-flop back and forth about who I'm going to take. I'm basically taking the home field advantage in this game. And for this to be one of the ugliest games of the week, with both teams making follies and errors, and somehow people still finding ways to talk smack about both these teams, but I'll take the Broncos narrowly in this game, like 19-16. And Joe's going to be like, look, my defense kept him to 16 points. That's what we're going to hear from Joe.
Top 20 defense.
19 points, or 19 points, sorry.
You know what? Before Joe goes on his rants, I'm changing my pick. I originally picked the Raiders to win this one. I'm going with the Broncos as well.
There it is. Joe, let it rip.
Well, I want you guys know that I am a Raider fan, and I really appreciate it.
I will meet you again.
Come on. Really? You're taking the Broncos? You know Josh Jacobs has started 7 games against the Denver Broncos, and when Josh Jacobs starts those games against the Denver Broncos, he's 7-0 against them. You know the Las Vegas Raiders are 6-0 against the Denver Broncos? You think doesn't matter who you can have the number 1 defense in Denver, and the Raiders still go out there and put up points. Devontae Adams made Patrick Surtain look like a bitch last year going up and down the field on him. He goes, I got lost. Patrick Surtain's supposed to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and he was 15 yards away from Devontae Adams on a game-winning touchdown. Come on, guys. The Raiders are going to come in there, destroy the Denver Broncos. Russ won't be cooking shit just like he did last year. I mean, unless you want to call it completions when he throws it straight into the ground, because that's what Russ is going to be doing. We don't even need Chandler Jones' crazy ass this weekend. He can just sit at home. Chandler Jones, if he's playing, if he does play, he has the most sacks on Russell Wilson of anybody else in the NFL. So why not add on to that? But you got Tyree Wilson, you got Marcus Kuntz that are going to take his spot, and then you got, of course, you got the Condor, Max Crosby on the other side, who's on a mission this year. I already said TJ Watt's getting 3 sacks this week against the Niners. I'll go Max Crosby gets 2 against the Russell Wilson and the Broncos, and the Raiders win this game easily, 31-17.
You know what? I'm changing my pick back to the Raiders. That was very good, Joe. You just convinced me.
I really don't know. Like I said in Vegas, Joe, you caught me drunk, and I said flip a coin. I told you to flip a coin. I flipped the coin. It didn't land on the Broncos. That's what I'm taking.
Everybody on the Broncos is hurt. The Broncos are full. Like, pull up their injury report. It's all hurt.
Even the defense?
Yes. They're what? Starting cornerback is hurt. I was trying to pull up their injury report right now. They have a bunch of people on their report.
I didn't dive into the report. I went with the home field advantage, and I know that the offense is banged up. And somebody up there said I can't act like Jimmy G's a bad quarterback. I'm not acting like Jimmy G's a bad quarterback, but he's not like, I'm not picking the Raiders because they have Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, we've seen Jimmy G succeed with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. And that to me is a little, we can pump the brakes on Jimmy G being somebody who's going to come and light the world on fire in Las Vegas. Like, I'll just, if he does, and he's fantastic, and he plays the Josh McDaniels system the way Tom Brady played it, then as a Chargers fan, that sucks for me. I'm just not buying it.
They're saying this shit's funny in the TikTok chat. Come to the YouTube channel, y'all. MJT Football. MJT Football.
I mean, that put the Broncos over the top this year. Super Bowl contenders, Mike McGlinchey and Sean Payton. You add those to your team, that takes you right to the Super Bowl, right?
Okay. McGlinchey and Powers are both in there for the run game. Like, they're both going to come in and run the football. Is that did the Raiders defense get magically fantastic? Like, they're just going to shut down the run and the pass?
Some RJ Pirine going to run all over somebody because that's who I'm scared of.
You guys are going to get Jaleel McLaughlin, undrafted preseason standout. That's who you're getting.
You're going to get McLaughlin.
The Broncos can't do much when their offense is going to be sitting on the sideline and the Raiders are taking up 10 minutes every drive to go down the field on them.
I'm saying Raiders. Go Raiders. But, Joe, I do have a proposition for you. You said that you're picking the Raiders because they're 6-0 against the Broncos over the last 3 seasons. If the Chargers go 6-0 over the Raiders in the next 3 seasons, will you start picking the Chargers to beat the Raiders every time they play?
Sure, that's an easy thing for me to say because it's never going to happen.
Take on it.
The Chargers can't even beat the Raiders when it matters.
6-0, 3 years. We're going to flash back to this clip. Mike, remember this. Put this in the head so you remember to come back to this in 3 years, and Joe will be forced to pick against the Raiders. Anyway, speaking of the Chargers, the Miami Dolphins are coming here to our hometown, Los Angeles, California, to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Tony, go ahead. Take it away. Tell these people what's about to happen.
Absolute domination. The start of 17-0. Fantastic. Number 1 defense, number 1 offense, can't be stopped. I don't know. Like, to me, this is a really shitty week 1 matchup, right? Because like every time you hear somebody talk, you keep going, well, look at what the Chargers defense did against the Dolphins offense last year. They put out this blueprint on how to stop them. To me, that's like the worst mindset that you could have, because then you're just saying that Mike McDaniel isn't capable of making adjustments or doing something different or giving a different look. And the thing is we don't know what that could be. Like, the Dolphins could come out with something completely different. The Dolphins could do something super smart and run the football this year, which they did not do in that game against the Chargers. It seemed like they were dead set on showing, hey, Tua's better than Herbert in that game. And he was like, all right, I'll plug up the middle of the field and, we'll stymie your offense. I'm going to pick the Chargers. I'm a fan. Everybody knows. They can see. They can tell. I'm seeing a lot of people picking low-scoring game here. I like this game to be a shootout. I'm going to go 35-30 Chargers in the most exciting, fun game of the week. Now, this does not help my Brandon Staley defense argument that I have the Chargers giving up 30 points, but it's only week 1. They got 16 more weeks to figure out the defense. But week 1, let's go with lots of fireworks.
I have the Chargers as well, obviously, taking the Chargers in this.
Surprise.
That's why I was pretty pumped, Tony, in the press conference. Brandon Staley was straight up with the reporters like, this is a brand new game. We are not looking at the other game and thinking that is exactly what we got to do to beat the 2023 Miami Dolphins. That was the 2022 Miami Dolphins. We're playing an entirely new defense. I mean, they're coming out with an entire new scheme on defense this year, so it's not going to be that. Look at this. 3 TDs. That's the one person that Brandon Staley has always done well against, even when he was in KC with Patrick Mahomes. For some reason, he's got Tyreek Hill's number. Tyreek Hill, in the last game, most of his stats came from the fucking recovery that he ran around the whole entire field.
Well, I thought me and Mike Dunn were friends. He was saying all this like really smart stuff, picking all the right teams, and then he just comes in here taking the Dolphins to whoop them.
Ooh, instant replay.
Hey, I didn't know the Dolphins were so banged up until we saw their injury report. I didn't know Jalen Waddle was hurt. I didn't hear about all that. But yeah, you got all that going on. But guess what? I still don't give a damn. You take the Chargers, right here, Chargers, and you do that right there to them. And you do that right there to them. And you do that right there to them. Right there. And you take the Chargers and you get rid of them. Look, like I've been saying, there is no D in Los Angeles. And the Chargers are going to find out what Raheem Mostert can do in that backfield when he runs all day on them. Yeah, Charger fans, get used to that name. Raheem Mostert and the offense, Tua, going to show off how big he is this year and go up and down the field on that Charger defense.
This is what I've been telling Dolphins fans.
It's going to be a close game.
And I'll tell you the same thing I've been telling Dolphins fans. They keep saying, well, Raheem Mostert's going to run all over your crappy run defense. It's the same defense the Miami Dolphins run. But whose run defense is crappy? I mean, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? Your defense is crappy. It's the same defense you run. Well, Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley run the same defense.
I think that's part of the reason that makes this game so incredibly interesting, right? Is the unknown of what Kellen Moore brings and if the offense is there and really if he's going to help Herbert to be more aggressive, right? Like that's the thing that we all want to see as just football fans in general, right? Unless you're playing the Chargers and you're not a fan of them. But like that's what's exciting. And that's what we want to see. And then on the other side, we get to see Mike McDaniel and Coach Staley battle it out.
If this game isn't a shootout, then it's going to be a shitty game because this game should be 48-45 at the end of it with no defense on either side. They should both be putting up a lot of points.
That's why I think like this game is going to be just a boat race. Like it's going to be a lot of excitement in this football game.
If the Chargers defense, the exact same roster was on the Raiders, he would be sucking them off.
Yeah, it would, because they'll be wearing that silver and black and looking a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. That changes it. Anyways, let's go on to another game that I think is actually kind of interesting, and people are sleeping on this game. Probably tune in and check it out. At least maybe check in on Red Zone or something. But the Philadelphia Eagles are going to New England to play the New England Patriots. Tony, you know Bill Belichick's going to have a great game plan to throw at these Eagles with 20 games on tape from last year to watch all offseason.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those situations where it's like it's more competitive than we think it's going to be, right? Like, because the offense, when you look at it, it's like, well, what tape are they going to study of the Patriots? You know, like they're not going to run an offense, hopefully anything like what they ran last year. So maybe that gives a little bit of week one surprise to the Eagles defense. I don't think there's going to be any fall off as far as like, hey, there's a new defensive coordinator, because you still have so much veteran leadership there with that Eagles defense. Ultimately, I'm taking the Eagles because of their defense being able to make that extra play, even though I think the strength of the Patriots is their defense. But I think this game is sneaky close and a really good, fun game to watch in week one.
I'm with you on that one. I'm going with the Eagles also. I do think it's going to be a close game. Everyone thinks the Eagles are going to blow them out, like Mike here. Joe, you think the Eagles are going to blow them out?
Yeah. Yeah. There's part of me that's like, it's Bill Belichick, one of the best coaches in NFL history, and he's going to be able to have a good game plan. He usually has his defense going. But, okay, I understand Bill O'Brien's there. They're actually going to run an offense this year. They're going to know what they're doing. They're going to have some X's and O's that are going to be pretty smart. But really, I mean, who do they have on offense? Like, am I supposed to trust Juju Smith? And isn't he hurt still right now? Am I supposed to trust that running game? Maybe Zeke gets out there. But maybe it starts off at halftime and we're like, oh, the Patriots might pull this upset. But in the second half, that defense of Philadelphia is going to be too much for him.
Why is everyone roasting Tony today?
No shit. I am just taking just the heat. Where's this?
Stevenson season, Joe.
Huh?
It's a Ramondre Stevenson season.
Okay. He doesn't even want the ball. He said, please don't give me the ball as much as you did last year. He doesn't want the ball.
I think Stevenson understands I need to make it to contract time as healthy as I get, because the way these contracts are headed, he might be playing for, like just rent money. Like that's not good for his contract outlook. I do like Damien's take of watch him turn Zeke into prime Zeke. Unless he finds a fountain of youth, Zeke won't have that. Zeke hasn't had that burst since like year 3. So like,
imagine that shit, Tony. The C parts, Zeke and a linebacker, and he hurdles him and then splits the safeties.
But if there is, like, maybe there's something there. Like maybe, I don't know, he finds the old Tom Brady watering hole and it's like the fountain of youth.
they like keep it in the corner of the practice field. Like everyone go drink from that fucking fountain.
Yeah, I mean, what's that guy they have on special teams? Matthew Slater. He's been playing. He's on like year 27 of their special teams.
Still a prime special teamer. He might go to the Hall of Fame for special teams. All right, we got the Lambs are going up north to face Seattle in Seattle. I think the Rams have no chance at winning this game without Cooper Kupp. They already didn't have a chance with him, in my opinion. They definitely don't have a chance now.
Yeah, I think this is a ugly game, like a lot of points for the Seahawks, a lot of energy. The Rams defense is not going to be very good on the road in a crazy stadium. Then the offense has to try and operate in that against that defense with the offensive line. This one feels like Seahawks by like 17 points.
I'm here for that. How do you think my extra 8th round pick Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to do, Tony?
I don't know. Is he playing with a cast or not?
I don't know.
The Rams are like Cooper Kupp's hamstring, right? It ain't gonna show up week 1. They're not gonna show up week 1. This is my survivor pick this week. Everybody else is taking Washington or they're taking Baltimore. They're gonna waste those picks. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks as my survivor week 1 pick because they're gonna destroy the Los Angeles Rams in Seattle. And Geno Smith is gonna put up an MVP performance. For all you guys that are starting Geno Smith this week, like I know Mike is, be happy for it because the Rams have there's no way they can stop any of these weapons on Seattle's offense.
You just said I'm hating on Geno Smith?
No, I said you're starting Geno Smith.
Oh, yeah, I am starting Geno Smith in one league, I think. I'll say, Chris, on this one, I like your ticket you have here. I've learned this lesson the hard way with prize picks over the years. That Montgomery over 12.5 receiving yards is a lot taller mountain to climb than you think, especially with Gibbs in town.
And they're saying that Montgomery's a sit this week. I don't know. I don't believe it. I like Montgomery getting some stuff this week.
I like Montgomery a lot better without Chris Jones in the middle. I know that.
Yeah. 31-10. Yeah, everyone's kind of agreeing Seattle's going to take us. All right, we got 2 more games, the 2 primetime games. Great primetime games, by the way, y'all. We got 2 games in New York for the primetime football this first week of the season. Dallas Cowboys are going to be taking on the New York Football Giants. I'm rocking with the Cowboys because on paper I think the Cowboys are still a better team. But I have been saying, and I do think that the Giants have a very good shot in this game. I think they have the creativity on offense to throw some surprises at that defense's way here in week 1. Saquon obviously getting back out there is key. Darren Waller looked healthy in the preseason. I don't know how long that's going to last, but at least for week 1, Darren Waller is a impact player for the Giants offense. And I think that the Giants defense is slept on a little bit. I think one more year together, they're going to get better. You add Isaiah Simmons to this team, and Kayvon Thibodeau hopefully takes another leap this year as a player. This is a tough game to call, Tony. What do you think?
It is. I'm going to take the Cowboys. And when I was picking this game, it's one of those things where like I look at it, and I'm like, I have the Giants like totally regressing. And part of it is because they have a crazy schedule to deal with, especially at the beginning of the year. But they're starting rookie cornerbacks there. Dak, you got to be able to capitalize on this. If you got a healthy Cook, healthy CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup's back, like this should be an opportunity for him to get out there. Even if Wink Martindale is blitzing like crazy, he should still be able to find the open receiver right away, find the one-on-one matchup, and be able to put some points on the board. I do think the Giants defense can get better and the pass rush can be better, but they got to find a way. And on the other side, Cowboys defense has been talking some crazy shit. They better show up and show out on Sunday Night Football. Like it better be dominating.
A lot of Giant fans have been crazy right now. A lot of Giant fans are believing the hype in their team, believing of what they saw last year, but it's still Daniel Jones back there, right? It's still Daniel Jones as your quarterback, and you got to believe in it. And they're like, well, Darren Waller's here. Darren Waller looked good for what, 4 plays in the preseason? Is that what we're talking about? And then he looked good against your defense in practice? Come on. Like, I understand Darren Waller is going to be an improvement to that team, and he's going to give a big target across the middle. but you're going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who own you for the last couple of years. Dallas Cowboys, who I think will have a top 3 defense this season, and we're supposed to be like, oh, you know what? Giants do actually have a chance. Stop giving the New York Giants fans hope. They have no chance of winning this game. They're going to get blown out just like they have the last couple of times they played the Dallas Cowboys. Look, Danny Dimes, have fun throwing picks to Diggs and Gilmore as they run it back and you're watching them. And maybe you trip over the 25-yard line as you're running back after them.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Ruthless. Oh, wait. Which one of you guys was the Danny Dimes defender on this?
Tony.
I go back.
Danny Dimes.
Here's the thing. I'm not a Daniel Jones hater like everybody else. I think that he gets the opportunity to try and see if he can improve. Like he improved last year. He took care of the football with Dable. Now the interesting point is this year, do they expand on that? Does he become the reason that the Giants can win games? And he has to be that guy if you're going to pay him the kind of money that they gave him. Like he has to prove to be that guy if you're going to dedicate that much salary to him. I don't know if it'll happen. I just don't hate him as much as you guys.
The ball won't lie. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
It won't.
All right, this is the final game of the Week 1 slate. It is Monday Night Football. It's a great one. Before we get into this final game, help us out by liking the stream if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you can join our live streams throughout the year. We're going to be doing a fantasy show on Sunday morning. We're going to be live throughout the week, every single week, talking about all developments around football. We're going to be live tonight for at least the first half of the Thursday Night Football game. The rest of it is TBD. But please, guys, help us out by liking the stream and turn on those notifications when you subscribe. All right, last game. Buffalo Bills on the road in New York against the New York Jets. This is going to be a fun one. Aaron Rodgers' first game comes against the division's top dog of the last couple of years. Tony, take it away.
I don't know. I love this shout out for Josh Palmer though. Go ahead, Mike.
Danny Woodhead in the profile pic down here. Edit Josh Palmer. There we go.
There we go. It's beautiful. I'm taking. Who did I take? I switched so many times I forgot. I'm going to take the Bills in a close game. And so I kept going with the Jets over and over again. And then I was like, maybe this is just like hard knocks, like in my face. But the first week of the season with Josh Allen being fully healthy and having all that at his disposal, I'm going to take a couple of kinks needing to be worked out here for the Jets on offense. Once they get those, they maybe start a little bit of comeback. But we get a Tyler Bass field goal late in the game. It's a fun game. We're going to have a ton to talk about next week about what we thought about how the Jets were. But I'll take the Bills in a close one here, maybe 26-23, something like that.
Say it with me, Joe. J-E-T-S. Jets, Jets, Jets. Right, Joe?
He's never going to say that.
Look, I don't know why I picked the Jets. I don't want to pick the Jets. I really want to go with Buffalo, but something is telling me that the Buffalo Bills are going to lose it themselves. It's going to be something that Buffalo does that makes them lose. I like the Jets defense, to be honest with you. I think the Jets defense is going to be better than their offense. I don't know why, just the way I'm going with it. But I want to pick Buffalo. Trust me, I want to pick Buffalo. I think Buffalo is the better team. I'm not buying the Jets and Aaron Rodgers as Super Bowl contenders like everybody else is. But it's week 1. They're going to have the hype. Shit. I'm just going with New York. I think I'm not sold on anything else in Buffalo's offense. I want to see what James Cook can do week 1. I want to see what the other receivers besides Diggs can bring with Josh Allen's, and I want to see how they use Kincaid. But I'm going with the Jets, but I'm not going to say that dumb saying. I'll say Raiders, but I'm not going to say Jets. Oh, damn it, I said it.
Yeah, you can just say it right there. But yeah, I have to go with the Jets. After all the hyping up of the Jets have done this entire offseason, it's time. It's at home. It is the first game of the season, but you could throw some surprises. The Bills will. But I think the key is the defense is going to slow down this Bills offense, at least early on in the game. They're going to keep the top or the lid on the offense, as they like to say in football speak. They might eventually, knock that top off and make a big play here to Stephon Diggs or make a big play there by Josh Allen. That's going to happen. But I think the efficiency that Aaron Rodgers is going to bring to the Jets offense, I hope the offensive line holds up, is what it's going to take for them to flip those defensive battles with the Bills from losses to wins this year. I'm hoping that they can get them in this game. I'm picking the Jets. Let's go Jets. We don't know what's going on with Kelsey instant replay. I think he's a true game time decision. Me and Tony were talking about it earlier. We wanted two things. Either he is probably going to play and they want the Lions to kind of doubt that, or the other way around. He's not going to play and they want the Lions to still prep for him and think that he's going to play. So we'll see how it goes. We've seen it with the Chargers. A lot of game time decisions last year with the Chargers injuries.
If he does give it a go, too, you got to think that, like, he's going to have the little mini bye. Like, they don't play again for 10 days or whatever. So he'll have a nice break from that. Chiefs are going to be fine. They're going to win tonight. Doesn't even matter whether he plays or doesn't play. They'll find a way to just rip the heart out of all the Lions fans.
Let's go Lions. Come on, roar, Lions, roar.
I'm with it. I'm cheering for the Lions. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Come on, Joe. Give us a good roar. Come on. Rah.
He's on mute. This will be the best roar of his life.
Why are you guys muting me?
I didn't mute
Mike's
you.
always trying to mute me. He's trying to hold the Raider fans down.
Come on, Joe.
We just get out of your way. You'll do it on your own.
Give us a roar, Joe.
War.
Oh my goodness! End the show. We are gonna. This man yelled. This man yelled for 57 minutes of this show, and we asked for one roar, and he sounds like a bullfrog who's about to
The
die.
Celsius wore off, Tony. It only lasts for 50 minutes.
Oh my! That's not good pub for Celsius. That's a.
I mean,
I know.
Celsius
Brand deal,
great.
the brand deal's taken, just like that. You exposed them. Anyways,
Like, yeah, you're gonna talk about Celsius right there.
appreciate everyone for tuning in to this week's Pick'ems Challenge. We'll be live again next week, maybe Thursday, maybe Wednesday. We haven't set the official week by week day. Trying to keep it on the same day each week. So keep an eye out for that
Thursday.
broadcast. Be posted Thursdays. Okay, so Thursday mornings every week we will give our week one picks just like we did here today. Appreciate you guys again for tuning in to this one. Please like the video if I haven't reminded you enough. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. We're Tony, say the phrase, man. I'm exhausted.
Wait, hold on, Mike.
What is it? We're three friends who love talking football, but we're always looking for a fourth. So smash that subscribe button so you know when we're live and you can come talk football with us. We appreciate you, Harrison, Mike. It was great to meet you in there. I think who else? Theodore was rocking the chat. Bunch of people. Damien. We got Joker. Joker, we'll see you tomorrow night. Talking Bolts. You get a new computer yet? See that new pad? Talk some Chargers football tomorrow night. Raiders fans, you're not invited. Climb into a black hole and talk about being
Hey, and if you guys think you guys can pick good against us, you guys want to pick against us, right here. Here it is.
Wow.
Do the barcode right here. Scan that barcode real quick. Pick against us all season long for us. And you guys, hey, look at the thing. You got a chance to win 2 Super Bowl tickets and up to $20,000. Scan this code real quick. I know you guys don't like us advertising a little bit, but we got to help Mike out and get you that. This is all free content, guys, that we're giving you. And all we ask is, hey, if you want to beat us, if you think you're better than us, put your money where your mouth is.
It's $5 to join. So not a lot of money. It's 1 Starbucks coffee. But here's Joe's picks. Forgot about these graphics, Joe. Thanks for reminding me. Take a look at them real quick. Tony's picks.
Winner, a loser.
16-0 right there, baby.
That's 16-0. That's 16-0, then I'll go 14-2. So I'm here for it. I did change to the Lions, so keep that in mind, y'all. That's my picks.
Wow.
Right, now
doing that shady stuff already.
We need to add gambling expert to the show here, Chris Brady, coming in with hot information. 2 days ago, BetMGM had 75% of the bets on the Bills at -2.5. I feel much better now about my 26-23 Bills victory.
Jets. Come
Well,
on.
Chris is always welcome if he's going to bring those kind of stats over here. Because, wait, I picked the Jets. Damn it! Damn it, Chris.
Bring them next time.
Lahoo.